How are you? Welcome to Friday's Hope. This is Friday's Hope, and I want to share with you tonight that I have been in an amazing place in my life recently that has given me so much peace and strength. And so I want to share that with you on Friday's Hope. Friday's Hope is a place of encouragement to everyone, everywhere, in every situation. I'm Sue Barnhart, one of the ministers at the Worship Center. And there are many ideas how to start your day, but I've changed my whole way of thinking about each new day, and it has brought me so much peace. It's amazing. I start each day in a different place in my head and in my life and in my heart. There are so many ways to start the day, but this is how I've been starting it. I've changed the whole way of thinking about each new day, and the peace it has brought me has been amazing. I start each day by saying this: Good morning, God. Thank you for another day. This is your day, not mine, His. This is your day. What are your plans for this day? Show me your plans for me and help me stay in your plans for this day. Now, that takes quite a bit of different thinking, because I'm one of those people, when I wake up, I have my mind going a million miles a minute. I've got a list already, and I'm ready to get up and move. But we've been doing this study on prayer. We are talking about on our prayer group Monday nights on Zoom. Tuesday we're studying it in our Bible studies. And there's been just a change in an understanding by so many people that we get up and we start running. We might say, good morning, God, thank you for another day. And that's it. We take off, There's so many people say, thank you for waking me up to another day. And that's a wonderful comment. But I feel like it's incomplete. Because it really, thank you for waking me up to another day, then I feel like the next step should be, this is your day. This is your plan. This is your life. What do you want me to do? Yes, I'm grateful that I'm still here. I could be in heaven. That's okay too. I wouldn't mind being in heaven. That's a great thing. But let me tell you, when we say thank you for a new day, we have to remember that this is God's day. This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And that's an operative understanding for us, to understand that this is God's day, that we're up and moving in God's plan. And it's important that we remember that. So I started doing some research, like I always do. And one of the things that came to mind are the 12 steps for Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Do you know what the third step of the 12 steps for AA is? I've never read them all the way through. I've never had to be in a group. I have taught, but I've only taught temporarily until the teacher was able to come back. But I've never read the whole thing. The third step of the 12 steps of AA is, we made a decision. Hear that. Hear that. We made a decision for this day, for this time, maybe even for this minute, to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. So we made a decision as we heal from these addictions. Guess what the third step of Narcotics Anonymous are? You guessed it. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. A decision. See, in the first minute of our eyes opening, I don't know about you, I don't even have to be up out of bed. My head's already racing because I've got so many things I want to get done in one day. In the first milliseconds of our eyes opening, it is so important to understand that we're here this next 24 hours because of God. We're here, this sun rose and the sun set because of God. This is His time. This is His day, and it is important for us to understand that. Not ours, not our time. No, it's not that we don't have that time for us, but it was never invented by us. It was given to us by God. So a large part of improving our mental health is giving it over, making a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. Our mental health is giving it over our life, our thoughts, oh man, our thoughts, our frustrations, and everything else that we struggle with. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. Now that statement takes a few things to make it happen. Like I said, I've never taught one of the AA or NA classes, but I'm thinking this should have 3 or 4 steps underneath that statement about we made a decision to turn our will over to our lives over to the care of God, because that just doesn't happen. Okay, God, I'm going to give my struggle with alcohol over to you. Boom. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Okay, God, I'm going to give my struggle to anxiety over to you. Yeah, that doesn't happen. I'm going to give my drugs over to you, God. It takes some steps. I think there should be steps underneath their steps, and maybe there is. I've never been part of that. Maybe there is, but these are the things I'm thinking need to happen when we decide that we're going to understand that this is His day, and I am in His plan for the day. I think the things that to make it happen, these are just 4 of them that came to mind, is submission. I know you hate that word, but give me a minute. Faith, trust, and consistency. Those 4 words, all of them are difficult words for all of us to deal with. Faith, trust, oh my goodness. Submission, are you kidding me? All those words are hard to deal with, but you know what? When we have God on our side, hi, Pastor Paulette. Hey, how's my son, Kevin? Good seeing you, Pastor Paulette. But when we have God on our side, we can give those things to Him because He's the one that's going to help us do it anyway. So a large part of our mental health is giving it over. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. I'm really going to say that throughout this, but you know what? It's an important it's an important decision to make and walk in it. It might just end up happening for 5 minutes in the day. I've had to battle going back to the plan God had showed me in the morning. I had to battle that because I've got this plan for the day. That's the way I was designed. The problem is I forgot to leave it with God because He designed me that way. So I want to look at some of these words that I gave and just talk through this a little bit. I want to start with the word trust. How many people absolutely hate that word? Trust. That's a tough word because so many of us have had our trust violated by people we thought were going to take care of us or love us or whatever. You know, so many times the people who are struggling with alcoholism, addiction, anxiety, fear, control, anger, they're doing that because they've built this place to be able to deal with their life because they've been so badly hurt over the years for protection. That's what they use it for many times. So trust is one of them. How am I going to make a decision to rely on God unless I'm going to trust Him? That's a hard one. God, you're going to have to help us trust you. You know, it's just one of those things. And all of this that we talk about, trust is, we have the ability to ask God to help us do this. But each day, we need to keep doing this. So trust, you know me, I got to get my Webster's and my Greek out, and it says assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something, one in which confidence is placed. You know, I think I can rely on God's character, his ability and strength, his truth in the Word. I think I can rely on all that. But I have to work at it because my mind will go back and forth. But I think I can work on it. But here's a couple of scriptures for it. It is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in man. Boy, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in the man. Okay, what does that look like? Say I have a work situation and my boss happens to be very untrustworthy, and I know, by the way, I'm not talking about my ministry or my church family. They are amazing. But this is a theoretical scenario. That my boss is very untrustworthy. He doesn't follow through. She doesn't follow through. She maybe cheats and lies on the job. What do I do about that? I trust God to help me work through that. I don't put my confidence in my boss. I put my confidence in God to be able to work through that place, through that portion, through that part of somebody that's not very reliable. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. We've heard this time and again. But with all your heart sounds interesting because sometimes we trust in the Lord for some things, but then we take over everything else through whatever actions we've decided. Lean not unto your own understanding. That many times is where the control comes in and the anxiety. We've got this trust. Trust is hard because many of us had our trust violated by people we believed would take care of it. Take care of us. Sorry. But we don't have to. We can rely on him because, listen, he isn't a man or a woman. He doesn't act or do things as human. Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. Has he said it? Will he not do it? He isn't going to act like all the humans that have hurt us. He isn't going to act like all the people we've been close to that have done whatever to us. He's not a man that he should lie. How many of us have been lied to? How many of us have been betrayed? He won't. Nor the Son of Man that he should repent. He doesn't have anything to repent for because he's 100% perfect and he loves us. He does immensely. Kevin says, Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. We have to just be still and listen to his voice. That'll help with his trust. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a really good point. I like that, Kevin. Thank you. So if we're trying to get our trust in God and we go, oh, this is going to backfire because such and no, that's because a human. God's going to take it another direction that's especially good for us. So every word in the Bible is true. He will do it. That's what it says. He will do it. Every word in the Bible is true. So we're going to know that God's going to come through for us. Have we gone through difficult times? Yeah, we're still here on earth. Earth is not heaven. We're going to have difficult times. We're going to have people give us a problem. I'm going to give people a problem. Sorry if I did, anybody that's on the audience here. But he's going to help us through. And he's going to do it. What he says is true. Malachi 3:6, for I am the Lord, I do not change. So the way he helped us the last time and the way he's continued to love us, that isn't going to change. Maybe the way he does it is going to change because it's going to be a different situation, but he's going to continue to do that because every word in the Bible is true. Therefore, you are not consumed. Yeah, we might go through some tough things. Yeah, we might be facing some tough things. Yes, life may be difficult, but we're not going to be consumed because he's going to help us through. You know, it just is so important to understand that I think that trust is one of the major things. You know, ask God to heal your trust in him. Because I know for myself, my trust has been violated since I was a little girl. So ask him to heal your trust. He'll help you. He'll heal it. Number 2, faith. Many times people who struggle with alcohol, drugs, anger, control, fear, have the faith, but they have faith in drug and the alcohol or the actions they take or use to live life thinking that this thing or action will make all things better. We all have faith. That's never a problem. What do we have faith in? Ourselves? The way we control things? Our bottle? Our needle? What do we have faith in? You know, God just has, when we have faith in God, it's something solid that we can have faith in. It's something that we can continue to lean on in a direct, knowing way. So they use those things thinking that that thing or action will make life better, and as we know, it doesn't. In fact, many times it makes life more difficult. Oh, it might get us through. Absolutely, it might get us through. But when we have faith in God, who never changes, remember the verse we just said? Who is powerful and loves us, our life can change for the better and we can be free. Do you know how wonderful it is to be free? Free of that alcohol, free of that drug, free of that control, free of that fear, free of that anxiety. That, like I said in the beginning of this, I have so much peace walking through the day when I just say, God, this is your day. What are your plans for me for this day? And then I rely on him. Do I go to the appointments that are scheduled if I have some? Yeah. Do I go to my office at the church? Yep. Do I do everyday things? I don't just sit around saying, okay, God, what should I do? I have things set up. But I'm also aware that maybe God says, you know, like I felt like he said today, I didn't sleep very much last night. Struggling with that a little bit, not sure why, waiting for an answer. But I contacted our lead pastor and I said, I'm going to go home a little bit early and sleep. So I left an hour early so I could rest some so you wouldn't see this blithering idiot on screen. And I made some kind of, you know, sense here. But my faith is in him. My faith is, okay, I didn't get a few hours sleep last night. There are things that I'm committed to doing. God, this is your day. Help me do your plan and help me go through with what I've been committed to do. And if the commitment isn't something I should be doing, then I don't. I cancel. If I can't do it, you know. So having faith in God, who never changes, who is powerful and loves us like he loves us, not like man or woman has loved us. Perfect love. Our life can change for the better and we can be free. I want you to hear that word free. You'll know the truth and the truth will make you free. The biblical definition of faith is conviction that God exists and is the creator and ruler of all things, the provider and bestower of eternal salvation through Christ. Faith, the conviction of. In other words, you are so solidly convicted that he is the creator. He exists and he is the creator. You're not just out here using him on this faith and trust to try and get out of the mess you're in. He'll still help you. But then what happens when you let go of him? It all starts all over again. conviction that God exists and is the creator and ruler of all things. By the way, he's the creator of you and me. So why shouldn't I say to him, this is your day, your plan, what would you have for me this day? Webster's definition, belief, and here's that word again, trust in and loyalty to God. Complete trust. How about that? Complete trust, loyalty to God. Isn't that interesting? So faith is wrapped up in our total conviction that God exists and is the creator and ruler of all things. And because he's the creator and ruler of all things, he can indeed help us walk through the day, help us get over the addictions, help us to get over being anxious or controlling or whatever it is that we use to try and get through the day. He's amazing. Submission. That's a word a whole lot of us women don't like because we've been submissive to a man who maybe was very difficult to us, or we've been submissive to a boss that wasn't very nice. Submission is not something that we want to talk about very much. But here's the thing. Submission to God is a whole different ball game, whole different action. The dictionary says the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or the will or authority of another person. I'm not talking about a person, I'm talking about God. So accepting and yielding to a superior force. So we have to accept that this is his day. We say that in the scripture. And we have to accept that he's the superior force. He's going to get us through. And he's a good superior force. The biblical had a whole bunch of different definitions. To arrange under. That's an interesting definition for me. To arrange under. In order for me to arrange under God's plan for my life this day, is I have to turn off that list in my head. I have to stop thinking about everything I have to do. I already know what I have to do. I have to stop panicking about everything I have to do. I have to stop worrying about everything I have to do. Arrange under. How would I do that? By understanding God is loving, God is kind, God's going to give me what I need, God's going to help me through. Arrange my mindset and my heart underneath God's power. Obey oneself, the subject of oneself to obey. Sorry. To submit one's control. Now we think about that, but you know what? We submit our control over drinks. We submit our control over drugs. We submit our control over to that worry and that figuring out and that anxiety and that frustration and that anger. How about submitting to God, who loves you and who's going to take care of you? Those other things have failed us time and again. You know, when we're trying to figure things out and then we go back, it doesn't work. Guess what? We got to figure it all out again. Let's submit to God, who loves us and only wants the best for us and will help us through life, the rough spots and everyday life. Yield to one's advice. Submission. The Bible is full of great advice. The Bible is full from Genesis to Revelation. It has great advice. We just have to yield to it. Well, I don't know, God. That doesn't make sense to me. No, it doesn't, because we're not God. He's not human. It's a perfect plan for us. Yield to one's advice. The Bible's advice. The Bible has it full of great advice. And One more important thing, and this is as important as the others, and maybe even a little more important, and that's consistency. So we've heard so many people say, well, I tried God. Okay, he's not an outfit you try on and realize it doesn't fit. He's not a God that you go and pray a little while every once in a while and nothing changes. Come on. Stop wrapping God around what we think and try being consistent with him. Wake up in the morning and give him your life and your heart. Walk according to his word. Get in his word. Read his word. Get in a church. Get in a Bible study. Get in a Sunday school class where you can learn about him. Talk to him just like you talk to your friends or your wife. What happens, or a husband? What happens if you didn't talk to your friends or anybody? You wouldn't have a very good friendship after a while. Consistency. Every single day. Why? Because we have to? No, we don't have to. Nobody's making us. We want to because we're going to God who loves us and only wants the best for us. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. Why wouldn't I want to talk to him? He loves me. He loves you. Consistency. The dictionary, Webster's dictionary, is customers expect consistency in the quality of service they receive. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever pulled into a McDonald's and it wasn't the same McDonald's that you have at home? No. Because every single one of them have a consistent menu, a consistent way to make hamburgers and whatever else they make. My kids, when they were little, could spot a McDonald's from 10 miles away, I swear, because they knew there was going to be a consistency in the food and the service we received. Consistency. We need to be that consistent with God and continue to establish a relationship with him. We need to be that consistent with God and learn more about him. Lean on him. We've wrapped ourselves around drinks and alcohol and drugs and putting things in our own control by worry and anxiety and fear and all this other stuff. None of it's worked out really well, has it? How about putting ourselves in God's life, in God's hands on a consistent level? Just because we know he loves us. That's it. And I have my devotional time at night. I know it's weird, but for 70 some years I have always gotten up and I've gotten moving because my day is already filled many times. Lately, after I've retired from one of my jobs, I can sit and rest but in the morning. But my quiet time, my time with God, my time that I read into the scriptures and I meditate and I have my worship and a time I've got a YouTube channel full of songs that I play. My prayer time is in the evening, and that works best for me. Can't wait to get there. I'll look at my watch, go, oh, I got to get to because I want to. I can't wait to get there. I don't have to because if I don't pray, something might happen bad. No. I want to get there. I want to do that. Another definition is practice will ensure greater consistency of performance. Hello, do you have a time where you sit down with God? I know a lot of people do it in the morning. Some people look at me odd because I do mine in the evening. But you know what? I do mine in the evening because that's the best for me. Consistency. How many of us, if we learn to ride a bike, the way we learned is by doing it all the time. Got the little training wheels maybe, and then with the training wheels came off and you pedaled real hard and you were able to learn how to ride the bike. And then maybe you were able to learn how to jump off curves or curbs or all sorts of things. Consistency. You didn't get on it once, couldn't ride it and say, well, I'm going to go do that again. Who does that? Nobody, if they really want to ride the bike. Consistency. Practice will ensure greater consistency of performance. Relationships. You met a friend, talked to him once, didn't talk to him again. How great of a friendship is that? Consistency, practice. I'm not saying practice your friendships, but I'm saying you end up talking to your friends over and over again. So consistency is practice. And when you practice, it will ensure consistency of performance, harmony of conduct, or practice with profession. He followed his advice as one of the other definitions from Webster's. He followed his advice. Why don't we follow God's advice instead of our own? Why don't we follow God's advice because instead of Aunt Mimi's or Uncle George or whoever, and I apologize if somebody has an aunt or an uncle named that. Yeah, they were good, and they had probably good advice then, but did it come out of Scripture? No, probably not. There's a lot of sayings that have wandered around this world, and none of them are true. God's going to not ever give me anything I can't handle. That's not in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, anywhere. Nowhere. What he does say is he's going to help me walk through things when it gets heavy or difficult. God doesn't give us things that we have to handle. He doesn't give us things that are difficult. He gives us things of love and strength and a sound mind. It's the world that gives us all that other stuff. And of course the enemy throws some things in there too. Follow his advice. Practice being with him. Listen to his word. Trust him. Have faith in him. It's so important. So important for your mental health. Submit to him. Submit to him and believe this is his day. This is the day the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. It's so important that we learn these things, that we have made a decision to give our will to him, to give our life to him. And it's a daily decision. Sometimes it's a minute-by-minute decision. Reach out to other people if you're having a hard time with that. Reach out to other people if you're feeling bad, feeling suicidal, feeling difficult. Reach out if you're just not feeling good. Reach out to other people. If you're feeling really down, reach out to your doctor, pastor, police officer, hospital, psychologist. There are so many places you can get help nowadays. God's waiting for you. He loves you. He wants to help you through. He's given us the steps to do that, and he's given us the people to walk with. Don't sit alone in that mud and that muck anymore. Put what you're doing down that has to do with getting you through the day, and you might have to do that time and again, I'm just saying, and grab a hold of God for this day and every day, the rest of your life. I love you all. Thank you for being on. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for your loyalty and your goodness. I appreciate you all being on here. I love y'all. I'll have this video up on my YouTube channel shortly and on Friday's Hope Facebook page as well. Y'all take care. I'm praying for you. God bless.